Hey guys, welcome back to Brown Bowl. Today we're going to be talking about egg replacers. Now you know that at Brown Bowl, in all of our videos and recipes, we've calculated everything for you, so you don't even have to think about this. But what about when you have a recipe at home that you want to make substitutions for? That's what we're talking about today with this little guide to vegan egg replacers for baking. Eggs perform two main functions in baked goods. They are binders and they also help leaven, and that means to incorporate some air into our baked goods so that they're moist and nice and fluffy. So let's talk about binding first. Now we have very simple ingredients that we probably already have in the kitchen that we can substitute an egg for. So all of these measurements are for substituting one egg. First one is using half a banana, especially if it already has some brown spots and it's kind of a little bit overly ripe. That's going to be easy to mash, and you incorporate it into your batter. Another is fruit purees or even vegetable purees, and when I'm talking about vegetables, I mainly mean sweeter vegetables like pumpkin or sweet potato. And what I have here is some applesauce, which is a great binder too. Another is some non-dairy yogurt. So a quarter cup of non-dairy yogurt will be the equivalent of one egg. Same goes for the fruit purees, a quarter cup. Just think of an egg as measuring kind of a quarter cup, so that's what you want. Another great binder for baked goods, especially when you're making brownies and moist muffins and cakes and things like that, is some silken tofu. This is a very soft variety of tofu. When you cream it up or blend it, it really becomes that kind of silky texture that you find in an egg. Another is, of course, one of our favorites. You've seen it in many of our recipes, and that is ground flax seeds combined with water, and the proportion is 1 to 3. So 1 tablespoon of ground flax seeds, and they should be freshly ground. That's the best choice rather than buying the pre-ground that you get at the store. And 3 tablespoons of water, especially if you can use warm water, that is going to gel up a lot quicker. Another great replacement for binding, and also this will perform a little bit of that leavening action too, is a store-bought egg replacer. So this is just a mixture of starches, potato starch, tapioca starch, and this is going to help bind our recipe. Now you can just add this into the dry ingredients of your recipe or combine it with a little bit of water and mix it in. Another great binder and also thickener when we're making, for example, pies, is some cornstarch or some arrowroot powder. Now you can mix this with a little water to form a slurry, and this can perform kind of a similar action to the egg, but I prefer the others a little bit more. This is good for pies though, to absorb some of the moisture, especially if you're using fruit. Our last ingredient that is great as a substitute for binding and sometimes even for leavening if you whip it is something that has come into the vegan arena very recently. It's a brand new discovery, and we call it aqua faba. And what it is that slimy liquid that chickpeas come in when you buy canned chickpeas. And some other beans work well too, but chickpeas are the best. So just drain the liquid out of the can, and that's going to be your egg replacer. 3 tablespoons are what you would think of when you want to substitute one egg. So this is incredible, and it really adds the most incredible binding and moisture to any baked good that you make, especially muffins. It's really fantastic in muffins. And if you whip it with a little powdered sugar, you get stiff peaks. So now you can make meringue or any recipe that meringue is used in, like French macaroons, which is incredible. Now we get to the real science of baking. Leavening. So leavening is what gives your cakes and baked goods that beautiful fluffy and airy texture inside. And it happens when leavening agents such as baking soda release carbon dioxide, which makes that air kind of get incorporated into your cake and have that fluffy texture. However, baking soda will only produce this effect when in contact with an acidic ingredient. So that's why baking powder is sometimes used, because baking powder is actually baking soda combined with some acidic ingredients to produce that effect. However, many times we use both because baking soda is actually great in baked goods. It can create kind of crispy textures. It helps things get golden brown. So it's actually very useful. So our favorite, absolute favorite ingredient substitute for an egg when it comes to leavening is simply adding some apple cider vinegar to our recipe. Some other acidic ingredients that you can add to a recipe to perform this effect are some raisins, molasses, and brown sugar. However, apple cider vinegar is my absolute favorite. If you're a member of Brown Bowl, and you have seen our fluffy buttermilk pancake recipe, you know that we create a delicious fluffy buttermilk by combining the vinegar and some non-dairy milk. And that, in the presence of baking soda and baking powder, produces the most moist and fluffy cakes, pancakes, and baked goods. So that's it. That's all I have for you. Now you have a big list of options when it comes to substitutes for baking. See you soon.